Hello and welcome back to a different kind of journal. As always, my name is Freddy and it is now December 2024, and it's been a while since I made one of these. One moment you have time to commit to finishing a drawing once a week, recording some commentary and editing it all together every month, to having life just telling you you're too busy to do much of anything. It happens, but I'm hoping to get back into the swing of things, hopefully in 2025. My plan was to originally create a review video of my 2023 journal 1 month after my last entry. There were some family related things happening at the start of the year. On top of losing my cat, my little girl Bessie, who I named Bessie because when she came to me, she'd have this issue where she'd go to the bathroom while standing at any time. She looked like a little spotted cow with her tuxedo coat, so the name Bessie stuck. I still miss her dearly. In any case, the journal sounded good on paper back in February when I was going to make that then, but became one of those ideas that just naturally decayed because it took so long for me to get around to do it. Making a journal review in December for a journal that finished in the close of the previous year feels pretty silly now. I had the same thought in May, and in June, and in August. But now that I'm here, I can do a quick rundown of what I was going to do. And the first thing I was going to do was do a bottom 5. That being said, at number 5 is Red Sorceress Through the Sky. It's mostly the angle. I like the concept of it, but feels like one of those things where execution mattered more than the content. Granted, it was my first entry for the journal and I could have done more with it, but it still serves as a stepping stone to improving. At number 4 is Warrior Sarah. This one is for the colors being incredibly bland and uninspired. It was a time where the idea of the journal to me started to become overwhelming to keep up with, especially after feeling like all creativity had died off. Luckily, it didn't take much time after that to come back from it. At number 3 is The Appearance of Death. This one is here for being too busy. I feel like if I took the drawing and redid the background, I could make something much better because of a lot of the problems are in the background. As it is currently, you can't really see the rest of the details. There was a city in the background and it wasn't clear after all the swooshy colors. At number 2 is A Day Under the Sun. I won't lie, this one was rushed. Very rushed. Probably my least favorite of them all because of numerous things like the angle, the blandness, and the color choice being too simple. I'm putting this at number 2 mostly because it was well into my journal and it feels like I could have done better with my time. And at number 1 is Clash at House K. This one was well thought out, but executed very poorly. Not to mention, I took too much time trying to think of ways to finish it when I got stuck at the beginning. The background was sloppy, the energy behind it was alright, and the colors felt awful. This one is one of those I want to redo. While I do consider these my worst of the bunch, I don't find any of my bottom 5s to be horrible because I do see that I can and have learned from them. At the same time, and as I've said in previous journals, you can always recreate your drawings repeatedly until you are content. Side note, I considered Kaylee waving, but it didn't even enter my radar for being a complete drawing, good or bad, just because it wasn't a full-size drawing to begin with. Next we have what I feel are in my top 5. Starting with number 5 is Dark World Nurse. While it is a simple character drawing, I have to put it in my top 5 because of what it meant to me. It was part of the reason why I got out of a drawing drought at the time. It also brought forward a lesser developed character to the front again. Not to mention I really liked her redesign. Number 4 is The Second Appearance of Death. This one is for clearing up what I originally wanted to do with The Appearance of Death. It simplified the background and didn't go over the top with effects. I do like that it's cleaner versus the first one. I had a small gripe of the angle not being fully down up, but not enough to knock it off my top 5. At number 3 is Tabs and Gun Bun. This one is for finally scratching an itch I've had for years. It was important that I get this one out the door after several failed attempts in the past. Regardless of it being perfect or not, It helped me see how much things have changed over the years. And number 2 is Suit Witch. While it was a very early entry in my journal, it was clear, to the point, and very colorful. Highly Picasso inspired, and something I'd like to replicate in the future. Easily one of my favorites. And at number 1 is Alice in Cyberland. This one is at number 1 because it was what got me out of my comfort zone and placed me into another. Putting my own spin on an already established character while being granted free reign on the design is both daunting and fun. It's something I didn't realize I would like as much as I did. I want to do more fairy tale inspired drawings that have these sorts of spins to them, similar to the Red Riding Hood one I had also done earlier. Now before I close the top 5, some runner-ups would include TEM Trio and Sayako on the Roof. TEM for being another itch I wanted to scratch for years but never could bring myself to finish. I found Tabs and Gunbun was just the better one of the two. And Sayako on the Roof for just being something I found a bit more challenging with an added bonus of having a sunset. As for this journal, my original thought was to go over all 52 entries as a large review going over the good and the bad, but a lot of drawings shared similar positives and negatives and decided to only focus on what I considered a top best and a top worst. While I've been wanting to do this journal review since the start of the year but never got around to it, I've done some sketches in my free time here and there throughout the year. My first thought was thinking how cool it would be to redo all 52 drawings and see how different you can do them. In some aspects, I thought it'd be cool to see how each can be changed. On the other hand, it probably wouldn't do much for some of them. Sort of like adding flashy effects to a movie only to realize how much you appreciated the original. There's also too many other ideas I still want to explore outside the ones I've already finished. That being said, it was while I was thinking about how to do this journal review, I went back to some of the earlier entries to see what I do different. For example, Red Sorceress falling through the sky, I sketched in a completely different perspective to give her the ability to show more emotion as she's falling. The old one didn't really show her expression all that well and looks flat. It doesn't have all the swirling colors in this one, but it is something that I can play around with still. Kaylee waving was another that deserved a resketch. It also gave me time to revamp Kaylee's clothing a bit from the older, baggier look to something a bit more modern. Like this one of my goals is to play around with perspective. In the same fashion, Rose from Rose Stretching in week 3 has a bottom-up perspective that makes her look a bit more menacing. There are others from the journals that I've been playing around with. I like the idea of seeing how else a drawing can look and what more you can do with the characters to explore the characteristics. I do want to do more scenario-based drawings where characters are interacting with one another and show a little bit more of their personality. I've also done some newer sketches, but I probably won't go into them just yet. I figured I can always just use them as newer entries in another journal. What started off as a way to get myself back into sketching old ideas again turned into a nice project to keep up with. Instead of thinking of what I can do for this year, given how it's already December, I might as well just get ready for 2025's journal instead. Granted, I have the time for it at least. It may be like the 2023 journal, or I may modify it, I'm not sure yet. I guess I'll see when I get there. As always, this is a reminder for you to just do your best. For now, I thank you for watching this shorter journal and look forward to seeing what a 2025 journal brings. Thanks for watching.